Hello students, welcome to the class. Today we will see the verification of laws of refraction of light. You may be remembering the laws of refraction of light. Laws of refraction of light states that the incident ray, refracted ray and the normal to the point of incidence, they all lie on the same plane. And the second one is the sine of angle of incidence bears a constant ratio to the sine of angle of refraction for a given pair of medium. These are the two laws of refraction of light. Now we will experimentally we will verify these two laws of refraction of light. For the experimental verification of light, we need the following things. We need a drawing sheet, a rectangular glass block, then some common pins. These many things are needed. Now we are going to do the experiment. Keep the rectangular glass block on the white sheet. Now draw the outline of the rectangular glass block with the help of a pencil. After drawing the outline of the glass block, remove the glass block. Then take a point on the outline. Then on the outline, take a point, and about that point you draw a normal. Draw a normal. Then make a certain angle. So make a 45 degree. So 45 degree. Any angle can be made. Here I have made angle of incidence as 45 degree. So I have made an angle of incidence of 45 degree. Okay. Fixing two common pins on this incident ray. So two common pins are fixed. Then keep this glass block back to the same position. When you look through the glass block, you will be able to see the image of this pin due to refraction. Now looking through the glass block, and we are fixing two pins. One pin I have fixed here. Then one more pin. Is fixed, so that while looking through the glass block, these two pins which are fixed on this side and the other two pins appear to be on the same straight line. You look carefully. These two pins which I have fixed here and the two pins which are seen inside, they appear to be on the same straight line. You look carefully. Okay. Now remove these pins, and where I have fixed these pins, these points are marked, and these points are joined by a straight line. So this is called emergent ray, where the emergent ray touches the outline of the glass block. About that you draw a normal. Then from this point to this point you join, you get the refracted ray. This is the refracted ray. This is incident ray. So I will give some names. A, B. AB is a incident ray. BC is the refracted ray. And CD is the emergent ray. Now with the help of this protractor, measure the angle of refraction. So this angular refraction is about 25 degree. Okay. Then measure this angle of emergence. That is about 45 degree. So in this diagram, you can see that the incident ray, refracted ray, and the normal to the point of incidence, they all lie on the same plane. So this is first law. Incident ray, refracted ray, normal to the point of incidence, all lie on the same plane. Then the next is the sine of angle of incidence. Bears a constant ratio to the sine of angle of refraction. Sine of angle of incidence, that is sine 45 divided by sine 25. This we will calculate. Okay, we calculate sine 45 upon sine 25. Then we will get an answer. That is the refractive index. And we repeat this experiment by changing the angle of incidence. Suppose that we make angle of incidence as 30 degree. Then we will get another angular refraction like 18 degree. Then when we calculate the ratio sine 30 upon sine 18, that will also come as the same value as we have got earlier. So which shows that sine of angle of incidence bears a constant ratio to the sine of angle of refraction. This constant ratio is called a refractive index. So this is the experimental verification of laws of refraction of light. Now the next topic is lateral displacement. What is lateral displacement? To find the lateral displacement, this experimental diagram, this incident ray is produced forward. Incident ray is the incident ray is produced forward. Okay, incident ray is produced forward, and this is the emergent ray. Incident ray is produced forward without any deviation with the help of a scale, and this is the emergent ray. Then a perpendicular is drawn between these two, that is the incident ray produced and the emergent ray. This perpendicular distance, the perpendicular distance between the incident ray produced forward and the emergent ray is called lateral displacement. The lateral displacement is the perpendicular distance. Lateral displacement is the perpendicular distance between the incident ray produced forward and the emergent ray. So this lateral displacement depends on three factors. One is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. Greater the angle of incidence, greater is the lateral displacement. And second one is the thickness of glass block. Thickness of glass block. This is the thickness. So if the greater the thickness, greater is the lateral displacement. Third one is refractive index. refractive index. The lateral displacement depends upon these three factors. Angle of incidence. Greater the angle of incidence, greater is the lateral displacement. Then thickness of the glass block. Greater the thickness of glass block, greater is the lateral displacement. Then the next is refractive index. Greater the refractive index, greater is the lateral displacement. Now the next one is multiple image formation in a thick plane mirror. Then the diagram PQRS is a thick plane mirror. The surface RS is colored. Okay. And A is an object which is kept in front of the thick plane mirror. Now from this, you look here carefully. From object A, light falls on this surface PQ. Then a part of the light is reflected. And this reflected ray, only a part of light is reflected. This reflected ray on producing backward, we get the first image which is represented as A1. Most of the light is transmitted to the glass. Most of the light is transmitted to the glass and suffers a strong reflection on the surface RS. This is the reflected light. So it suffers strong reflection and comes back to the surface PQ. When it comes to the surface PQ, a part of the light emerges out, and this emergent ray which is produced back, that produces an image which is called A2. Here A2 is the strongest, the image with the maximum intensity, because this image is formed due to the light with the maximum intensity. Then when this light it again goes back to the from the surface, some light is again reflected back to the same medium and strike on the silvered surface. On the silvered surface again reflection takes place and it comes back to the same medium. On the surface, some light is reflected back and some light emerges out. Then this emergent ray on producing, we get the third image. This way this process continues and a number of images are formed. Multiple images are formed. Out of these all images, second image is the brightest image. This is the diagram showing the multiple images formed in the case of a thick plane mirror. The topic is prism. A prism is a transparent refracting medium bounded by 5 plane surfaces with a triangular cross section. So here you can see 3 rectangular surfaces. See, this is a rectangular surface, this is a rectangular surface, and base, so that is also a rectangular surface. These rectangular surfaces, by name you can identify A, D, E, B, and A, D, F, C, and B, E, F, C. These are the rectangular surface. This rectangular surface, that is also called a refracting surface. So this is a, for this in order to recognize or identify this refracting surface, a blue shade is given. So these refracting surfaces together, it makes an angle which is called this refracting surface together makes an edge which is called a refracting edge, and the angle between these two refracting surfaces is called angle of the prism. And this triangle, there are 2 triangular surfaces. 2 triangular surfaces are there. These 2 triangular surfaces are called the principal section of the prism. Now we see refraction of light through a prism. Refraction of light through a prism. Here A, or another name PQR. Any name can be given. PQR. PQR is the principal section of the prism. Now I draw an incident ray. Drawing an incident ray. So this is an incident ray. Okay. So this is the incident ray. Then I draw a normal to the point of incidence. So this is the normal. The angle between the incident ray, this is the incident ray, and this is the normal. Angle between the incident ray and the normal is called the angle of incidence. As the ray of light passes from rarer to denser medium, this is air and this is a glass. Prism is made up of glass. Ray of light passes from rarer to denser medium. Since the ray of light passes from rarer to denser medium, the refracted ray bends towards the normal. Refracted ray bends towards the normal. So this is the refracted ray, and this angle I have taken it as R1. So this refracted ray strikes on this surface. About this surface also drawing a normal. So drawing a normal. So this is another normal, and this angle I name it as R2. Now the ray of light passes from denser to rarer medium. So the emergent ray, the ray of light which comes out, that is called emergent ray. That emergent ray moves away from the normal. This is the emergent ray, and the angle between the emergent ray and the normal is called the angle of emergence. So this is incident ray, this is refracted ray, and this is a emergent ray. So you can see angle of incidence, angle of emergence. Now we produce this incident ray forward, producing the incident ray forward without any deviation. This incident ray is produced forward, and the emergent ray is produced backward. Emergent ray is produced backward. Then an angle is formed between them, which is called angle of deviation. So the incident ray is produced forward, and the emergent ray is produced backward. An angle is formed between the two, which is called the angle of deviation. And this angle is called the angle of the prism. So this is the diagram showing the refraction of light through a prism. So you have to mark angle of incidence, angle of emergence, angle of deviation, and angle of the prism. Diagram is important. Then here there is a relation between these four, that is angle of incidence, angle of emergence, angle of the prism, and angle of deviation. This is the relationship. Angle of incidence plus angle of emergence is equal to angle of the prism plus angle of deviation. So this is the relationship between these four. I have told you what is the angle of incidence and angle of deviation. So this is a graph showing the relation between angle of incidence and angle of deviation. First you can see with the increase of angle of incidence, angle of deviation decreases, and at a certain angle of incidence, angle of deviation becomes minimum. At a certain angle of incidence, angle of deviation becomes minimum. This is called angle of minimum deviation. After the angle of minimum deviation, with the increase of angle of incidence, angle of deviation also increases. What are the factors affecting the angle of deviation of a prism? These are the factors affecting the angle of deviation of a prism. First one is angle of incidence. About angle of incidence, I have already told you that graph. The next one is material of prism. Means refractive index of the prism. Greater the refractive index, greater the refractive index, greater is the angle of deviation. When angle of the prism, greater the angle of the prism, greater is the angle of deviation. Then color or wavelength of light, greater the wavelength of light, less is the deviation. So these are the factors affecting the angle of deviation of a prism. Next class we will discuss another topic.